What's up, Unlocking Your Inner Strength listeners? How would you like to know how much your time is actually worth in monetary value? And I'll give you a hint. If you don't know this, you're pissing away a lot of your valuable time. Well, I have good news for you. I've put together a special report about time mastery that's normally $45, but since you're a loyal listener to the show, you can get it for only $10 at unlockingyourinnerstrength.com/time.
You're listening to The Inner Strength Show. If you want to step into your greatness, you've come to the right place. Here is your host, the human strength expert, Kyle Newell.
What's up, everybody? It's Kyle once again with Unlocking Your Inner Strength, episode number 71. Got quite a bit to go over today, and we're going to go over mindset and then a fitness tip based on a discussion I had with a student at a presentation I gave last week. So the first thing is, I don't know if you could tell on the video, but I'm a little sweaty. I just got back from my Monday morning run. Now, Monday mornings, it can be difficult for people to get momentum going because when you break for the weekend, most people take off for the weekend. Just like a mini vacation or vacation, you have momentum breaks. You got to regain that momentum. Now, with that being said, most people on a Monday, they really struggle, okay? I believe Mondays is the highest day for suicide rates. I know it's kind of morbid, but I believe that's the highest day for suicide rates out of the week. And that's because people are down. Now, the quickest way to change your state, there's a combination here. And I like to use both of these. So if you're in a drift, if you're drifting and you're going into a bad spot, movement is the fastest way to get out of that drift. More than any medication, more than drinking, alcohol, any drugs, movement is the quickest way to get out of that state. And Tony Robbins used to say that motion leads to emotion. Okay, motion leads to emotion. So physical movement will change, your physiology, changing your physiology is going to change the way you feel with your brain. The biggest benefit to me with exercise is how it affects your brain. There's certain growth factors that can only cross the blood-brain barrier through exercise. So you have different endorphins and the runner's high. And that was a survival mechanism. Think about it. Way back in the day when people would hunt and gather, if I was hunting prey, now the choice was either to stay motivated and keep going after it until I caught it so I could survive, or if I didn't feel good and I felt worse as I exercised, I would just stop, give up, and I would starve to death. So that's a survival mechanism. So movement is the best way to get out of a bad drift and a bad state. And the second part of that goes back to Hebb's Law. So if you've listened to me talk about mind map before, I've talked about Hebb's Law. Hebb's Law is what gets wired together gets fired together. So if you think of your favorite song or one of your favorite songs, whatever comes to the top of your head first, it makes you feel good probably instantly. Now, there's a reason why. When that song got wired into your brain and became your favorite song, it was tied to some kind of great or memorable experience that made you feel good. So what gets fired together gets wired together. So if you can combine those two, like when I just went for my morning run there's a country road over here, I listened to my life playlist, which I'll go over in a second, and I went for a jog. And I'm not a big jogger, but Mondays I like to do something fairly easy to get my brain going, get my body going, get a sweat going. So I believe you should sweat every day, and that goes back to brain function. So putting together your life's playlist, it could be 1, 2, 3. I think I have 8 songs on mine, songs that make me feel really good. One of them was my wedding song. One of them was a song I danced at my wedding with my mother to. And there's a line actually in that song before I forget because I wrote it down. Life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But life's playlist and movement, you combine those two things, you'll be out of any bad state that you're in, any depression, any bad line of thought within 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops, you'll be completely a new person. Now, along those same lines of success and mindset, I was watching Michigan State last night. It's my favorite team, watching them play North Carolina in basketball. And Phil Knight, the creator of Nike, the Nike brand, Nike shoes, it was his tournament, so they were interviewing him right after halftime. And they were talking about in his book, Shoe Dogs, which I'm actually, it's on my Christmas list. So I have heard great things about that if you're looking for a Christmas gift for yourself, Shoe Dogs. But they were talking about how in the book Shoe Dogs, he talks about how he wanted to fail the fastest. So Bill Walton says, where'd you come up with that? And he said, well, it just kind of made sense. Think about it. Why would I take 15 years to fail when I could do it in 10 months and figure out what didn't work? So his whole line of thought and the way he built Nike was fail faster than anybody, because you figure out what's not going to work and then you move forward. And if you fail, first of all, you have to embrace failure, because we're all going to fail. And the person who fails the most is going to win, because they're going to learn the most if they're wise. But if you fail, you learn, right? And failure does not define you. Just because you failed doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you failed. That's it. But failure is learning, so it depends how you reframe it, right? What's up, Unlocking Your Inner Strength listeners? How would you like to know how much your time is actually worth in monetary value? And I'll give you a hint. If you don't know this, you're pissing away a lot of your valuable time. Well, I have good news for you. I've put together a special report about time mastery that's normally $45, but since you're a loyal listener to the show, you can get it for only $10 at unlockingyourinnerstrength.com/time. Now, another thing I picked up over the weekend, which made perfect sense, was so many people want to talk, they wish that they had this life where maybe they could retire and do nothing. I don't believe the brain or the spirit or the body works that way, that you can just do nothing and, be content. We are wired for growth. Okay. We're anabolic creatures. Catabolic means we're breaking down, and that goes for your brain, your spirit, your body. Now, if we're wired for growth, you think about, okay, what if you had $20 million? Would you just sit around and do nothing? You might do that for a week or two. I think I would get bored after a week. But progress is a process that's never ending, right? Think about when a lot of people, especially older coaches, retire. They pass away. It happened to Joe Paterno. It happens to a lot of these guys. Bear Bryant, right after they retire from coaching, they pass because their growth process has stopped and their passion for living has stopped. But if you have children, you're probably very happy with your child's progress. So think about that for a second. And even if you don't have children, you could think about this. But would you want them to stay at that level of development for the rest of their life? The answer is no. And the same thing goes for you. You always want to have progress and movement forward. So that's it as far as the mindset piece for today. Change your state by listening to your favorite songs, put together your life soundtrack, and move. Movement is the quickest way out of a drift when we start drifting into a bad spot. So just break a sweat. I don't care what you do, you break a sweat. Fail fastest. Fail as fast as you can. Remember, progress is a process. Now, coming into the fitness piece, last week I was giving a talk at Mercer County College. And it was a tough class to engage. A lot of them weren't highly motivated and whatnot. So I was trying to connect with them on their level of things that I thought might interest them. But towards the middle of the presentation, a heavier set kid in the class said, how do I get a routine going? I started jogging or walking. I forget what he said. Heavy guy. But how do I get a routine going? I said, what do you mean a routine? You're already exercising, right? He said, yeah. But he wanted to go to the gym. So I said, listen, for most people, the gym is intimidating. For most people, the gym is an intimidating place. And I could tell you that from going to self-defense and jiu-jitsu. Not that it's a gym, but even for that, it's nerve-wracking and intimidating for me. Now, each time I go, it gets a little better. But I'm new there. I don't know what's going on as much as everybody else. And I'm going to be doing things that I'm not used to doing. So I get it, and I understand that. So what I told him was this, and you can use this for yourself. I said, well, first thing is scout out a gym you want to go to. Start with just a big box gym, okay? Low barrier to entry. And try to get a friend to go with you if you can. But the first time you go, just go in, ask for a tour of the place, and then leave. That's it. You go in, get a tour of the gym, and then leave. Next time you go in, walk around by yourself. Check everything out. Maybe stretch in the corner. Try a treadmill if you want, and then leave. And each time you go, because environments can be very threatening, you got a GL. So GL says the gym is a scary place, and it is. But each time you go, so environments can be very threatening. You're going to get a little more acclimated, a little more comfortable with the surroundings, with the people there, with the layout of the place, right? So the brain likes patterns. It likes prediction and response. It's a pattern recognition machine. So when we enter a place where we don't know what's going to be happening, who we're going to be talking to, who we're going to be meeting with, it's very scary. Now, each time you go, if you just build upon it, what happens is you're going to start to build that habit of going. The hardest part about sticking with the workout routine is getting there. It's showing up. That's the hardest part. And again, if you've been going to the gym for years, this is going to sound ridiculous to you. But if you coach people and you're a personal trainer or you're trying to help somebody, the hardest part for most people is to just go and to do the thing and just show up. We have a sign on a door at Newell Strength that says, you just did the hard part. We'll take the rest from here. You just did the hard part. We'll take the rest from here. So the hardest part is showing up. But just show up again. Each time, maybe you hang out a couple more minutes. And that's how habit is built. Everything we do in life, we're trying to build habit. And what was the quote I heard from Warren Buffett this weekend? It was something about the chains of habit. We don't feel them until they're too heavy to break. So they're happening whether you know it or not. And these little connections in your brain are getting wired together. So be conscious of them and start to form healthy habit. And last thing I'll challenge you with fitness is this. A lot of things I talked about are subjective. I have a certain philosophy with life. I have a certain philosophy of the way I think people should pursue things in their life. And I get that people can debate that. That's fine. But one thing that I would put my life on is if you start eating better and sweating every day, you're going to feel better. And give it a couple months and tell me I'm wrong. You won't be able to because you're going to feel better. So sweat every day. Start eating a little bit better. And it's going to have huge payoffs for you. So that's all I have for Unlocking Your Inner Strength, episode number 71. If you haven't subscribed to it yet on iTunes, please do so and leave a review if you can. I get to see when I sign in who left a review. So all of you that have left reviews on iTunes for Unlocking Your Inner Strength, I thank you. And please share this with a friend that can use a positive message. And if you have any topics that you'd like me to cover in the future, definitely shoot them over to me. You can email me at kyle@newellstrength.com or shoot me a message here on Facebook. That's all I have for today. And let's see, last thing, GL, you do feel better. I'm proud of you, man. Keep it up wherever you're going right now. Keep going to the gym. Keep it up. Keep moving. Keep building that habit. Keep sweating every day. Drink your water. Eat a little better. Peace.
You've been listening to The Inner Strength Show. If you enjoyed the show, remember to subscribe, rate, and review us in iTunes.